Hey folks, what's your favorite portrait lens for your crop sensor camera? Last weekend, I was taking pictures at a car show nearby, and I decided to stop taking pictures of cars and start taking a few pictures of people. The lens I wanted to use was a 35mm f1.8G DX prime lens made by Nikon for DX series SLRs. I put it on my F to Z adapter and attached it to my Nikon FC. Started taking pictures, but what I noticed was I wasn't getting the subject to background separation that I really wanted. I wanted a nice blurry background, but I guess I was a little too far away from the subject, and so the background really stood out. I wasn't getting that separation like I wanted. Well, 35mm is supposed to be a good portrait lens, but only if you use it in a way that makes it a good lens, which is to get a little closer to your subject. And I was standing anywhere from 10 to 20 feet away, and it just 35mm, I didn't have the length. I needed to make them large in my frame. So I came home and I thought about it, and I thought, I'm going to try some of my other lenses. Maybe there's one that does better at this. So I looked around at what I had, and the first thing I picked up was this 16 to 50 millimeter Nikon kit lens that came with the ZFC. So I tried that, but as you can see, maybe you can see if I turn it this way, it's a 3.5 to 6.3. So it means at 50 millimeters, if I needed to get a longer focal length, at 50 millimeters, I'd be at 6.3. So the next one, well, this is my 35 millimeter f1.8G DX Nikon lens that I used with the F to Z converter. I also had this Viltrox. This is a 23 millimeter. It's a f1.4, and I thought, well, maybe the faster lens I could get more background blur, so I tried that. Here is the 18 to 140 Z DX lens, zoom lens, and it goes from again 3.5 to 6.3 on the f-stop. I had hopes for this, but 6.3 is kind of a small f-stop to get much background. And then I have this 12 to 28 power zoom for the Z mount. It is 3.5 to 5.6. Again, pretty small f-stop. And then I had this one. Well, this is a 17 to 35 f2.8. It is so big and so heavy. It's all metal. It's built like a tank. It weighs as much as a tank, and that's what Ken Rockwell says. But it's a pretty good lens, so I thought I'd try that. And then the final lens is the one you're watching me on, which is Nikon Z 24 to 70 f4 lens. So I'm going to try that one as well. So I'm going to take all of these lenses, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7 lenses. I'm going to put the camera on a tripod, and I'm going to put at 6 feet out, I'm going to put my first subject. And then at 10 feet further out, I'll put the second subject. And at 30 feet, I'll put the third subject. And as I take pictures at various focal lengths and at various f-stops, I'll grade the pictures on how sharp they were on the first subject and how blurry they were on the second and third subjects. So again, what I was looking for was that subject to background isolation, which you get by opening up the lens, using a long lens, standing close to your subject. I'm uncomfortable standing less than 5 to 6 feet away from my subject, so I'm going to need a longer lens if I'm going to achieve my objective here for portraits with good subject to background separation. So I pasted all the data into this little table that I created, and then to make things easier to see, I color coded the table. So a 5 was a really good score for sharpness or bokeh, whatever it was I was looking for. So 5 was good, 1 was bad. 3 was what I would consider the absolute barest minimum that I thought I could live with. So if a lens didn't give me at least a 3, then it's probably not a lens that I was going to use for making portraits. 4s and 5s, I could use that. By color coding the 4s and the 5s, the 4s being in yellow, the 5s being in green, you can see which lens easily is the best. And 24-70 really, if you didn't need to use a 24, which I wasn't going to use a 24, I already proved 35 was too short. I'm going to use that at 50 or 70, and that is really my best lens for making portraits. Now in this final table, I added in the weight and the cost of each lens so you can see what you might expect to pay for these lenses today. The 24-70 is a little bit of a strange lens. It's a kit lens on many Nikon Z cameras, and when you buy it as a kit, it's about $600, but if you just try to buy it outright, it's about $1,000. You can find them used, they're a pretty good bargain, but it's still one of the more expensive lenses in this array of lenses that I tested. Now in the 1735 f2.8, Ken Rockwell said that was a spectacular lens, that it outperforms all of Nikon's previous fixed wide angles, but that was back in the early 2000s. So he liked it because it was sharp at all apertures, and I agree it is. It's built like a tank, and it weighs about as much. It's made of solid metal, not the toy store painted plastic. That's per Ken Rockwell. What he said about the 35mm f1.8 is it's a fast, light, inexpensive normal lens for Nikon's DX cameras, especially for use in low light without flash. And DPV View said it had excellent image quality when it stopped down just a little, and that's what I found. I couldn't really use it as effectively at 1.8 as I could at 2.2. DP Review further said it's slightly soft and low in contrast wide open. That's what I found. It's prone to purple fringing and bokeh chromatic aberration, most visible at large apertures. DP Review. How about the 16-50 kit lens that comes with many Nikon Z, especially the DX model? It's a lightweight, all-plastic lens. It does have vibration reduction. Ken Rockwell says it's an extraordinary lens and far better than trying to adapt an old lens to your awesome new Z camera. Nasim Mansurov from Photography Life says it has excellent sharpness, solid contrast and colors, while maintaining a small and lightweight footprint. The best thing about that lens is it is small and it is lightweight. It's only about 4 ounces, so it's easy to carry around. Ken Rockwell says of the 18-140 Z mount, he says this lens works unusually well, but it feels like a crappy plastic lens. Well, the feel of the lens didn't bother me. I'm not a professional photographer. I liked it. One of the things I like about it is it's small and it's lightweight, and it has a great zoom range. It's a great lens for just walking around and taking shots. Spencer Cox from Photography Life said the ZDX 18-40 is not perfectly sharp, but it's sharp enough. Okay, it's extremely lightweight, plus there. If you need a single do-it-all lens that doesn't take up much space, this would be my choice to pair with a Nikon DX camera. That's from Spencer Cox, and I think I agree pretty much with everything he said. It's not perfectly sharp, but it's sharp enough. My number one favorite lens in this experiment was the 24-70, and then I would say the 18-40. What lens do you use? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching, and give me a like and a subscribe if you're interested.